Gonna get in my car, drive away, and drive so far, and no one's gonna find me. Put my foot on the gas, accelerate.
How you doing, guys? This is Stalk Like Corn. This is my video recommendation. If you can see me, there we go. I'm once again joined by Mrs. Corn here. She helped me do my pickups post. If you just probably saw it, I posted it probably right before this one. My recommendation for this video is Frasier. It stars Kelsey Grammer as Frasier Crane, David Hyde Pierce as Niles Crane, and John Mahoney as Martin Crane. That's their dad. Jane Leaves as Daphne Moon, and Perry Gilpin as Roz Doyle. And my favorite, Moose, who played Eddie, who is the Jack Russell Terrier. As some of you guys know, I have a Jack Russell Terrier who was going to be named Eddie if she was a boy, but she is a girl, so she is named Sushi. Frasier was created by David Angel, Peter Casey, and David Lee. If those names seem fairly familiar, there was another show that those three did called Wings. They did that show. Kelsey was actually on that show when he was doing Cheers. I think it was a special guest appearance, and as Cheers was wrapping up, because Frasier is a spinoff on Cheers. As Cheers was wrapping up in the final season, he actually went to them and he really liked working with them on Wings and told them, look, I would like to do another show with you guys. One of the things they wanted to do is they did not want to do a spin-off of Cheers. That was actually one of the things they didn't want to do. But, the show ideas that they come up with were not ideas that NBC was happy with or crazy about. They wanted a spin-off, and they wanted, with Kelsey Grammer. So what they did was, the three creators, they were like, okay, what can we do to not make this Cheers? Just basically Cheers 2. They wanted to make it a separate on show, so they moved it out of Boston. The reason they did that is they did not want the producer or the network executives forcing them to have guest appearances from the Cheers cast so early, like in the first seasons or whatever, because they wanted to separate it. One of the things they also wanted to do is make him more than just a psychiatrist in a practice, because Bob Newhart's show pretty much did that, and they didn't want that. Then they were like, okay, make a radio show, but then that was too much like another show, WKRP in Cincinnati, which you might not know these shows, honey. The show was in the 70s, early 80s, I believe, before her time. So what they did was they made him a radio personality, but they wanted to really focus on his home life more than anything, the relationship between him and his dad. So him as a radio personality was really sort of just a side story to what they really were wanting to do, was to have him somewhere else and just focus on his home life. The distance between him and his dad, and the relationship between him and his brother really played out well throughout the entire show. Kelsey, Dave, and John, they did really well together. I think they really played off well with each other. It's a really funny show. I mean, it's just one of my favorite episodes is Ham Radio. It's in season 4. Cannot remember the episode number, but just look it up. It's Ham Radio, and it is absolutely one of the funniest episodes of any television show ever. It is just absolutely funny.
Season 4, episode 18.
Episode 18, thank you. I was going to say 16. I knew it was right there, kind of close to the end. But it is absolutely a hilarious show. Frasier's trying to recreate one of those old horror radio shows that they used to do on TV back in the day, and he's trying to recreate it, and things just go awry. I mean, anything and everything that you can really think. He's trying to over-direct, and, you know, he ticks off, you know, a bunch of the people, you know, during the middle of the show, and, you know, it's absolutely hilarious. It's one of the funniest shows. I've seen it about a dozen times, and I still tear up from laughter every time I watch it, because it's just hilarious. I'm laughing now. I'm trying to stifle my laughter now. You said you had a favorite episode as well. Which one's yours?
I have so many, but I guess the ones I really liked or found very funny. One of them was Roz and the Schnoz, when Roz was meeting the parents of her kids.
And they had the big noses.
Yes, and they had the big noses. One of those jokes was when they said, "Oh, what's the smell? It smells like..." And Martin said, "Probably Japan."
Oh yeah, so what is that I'm smelling? And Martin's in the kitchen. He says, "Probably Japan." That's a funny show. And you said that you had another show as well. That
The other one was Three Valentines. It's actually it was about Valentine's Day, and it tells 3 stories. There were 3 stories in them. There was a first Niles story, and that part was actually the most interesting one. It was very funny. It was showing how Niles was expecting this woman. He had a date with her in Frasier's apartment, and somehow, with all his manner, and he ended up firing the couch and Eddie eating all of the stuff off the couch, the sofa.
I know what you're talking about. It's a silent performance that's actually done by David Hyde Pierce. I know which one you're talking about. It starts off really simple. He had a crease in his pants, and he's trying to iron that out and cook dinner at the same time. And he tries trimming the pants and cuts himself, nearly passes out from the blood, and he winds up, like, setting his pants on fire, the couch on fire, dinner winds up on the sofa, trying to put out the sofa fire because he pulled the fire extinguisher out, pressed the button, and it goes spraying everywhere. That's actually, it's well known that David Hyde Pierce did that in 6 takes. And the final scene of it, after he sets fire to the couch, is actually the result of one continuous cut, which is really difficult because, I mean, it's a 10-minute scene, and, like, he sets fire to the couch about 7 minutes in, so that last few minutes, I mean, it's just one continuous cut. And, I mean, if you see it, it's really funny. So, I mean, I'm sure it was probably hard for him to keep it all together. Some of the interesting things about this show, little things. David and Jill, Peter, Casey, David, Lee, Casey and Jill, Lee, they actually named the radio station KCAL from Casey A.L. and Jill and Lee. That's where they had KCAL. One of the things they wanted to do, they wanted to have it in, I think it was in Minnesota. And Minnesota had just passed a law banning gay marriage. And when that passed, they decided they did not want to set their show in that setting. And I'm pretty sure it was Minnesota. I'll double check and put it in the comments here. I'll double check. A little thing will pop in right about now. About where it really was. So they moved it to Seattle. The reason being is because David Hyde Pierce was gay, or is gay. The guy who played Bulldog was also openly gay, and they did it in support of them. And I thought that was really cool. And another thing also, the titles. Hey guys, welcome to part 2. My camera once again cut off. I actually saw it happen this time. What I was saying was that the titles every year change colors, and you wanted to mention something about that?
Yeah, well, the very first thing you would notice about Frasier is the opening. It's a very special opening. first thing you would see a logo that will have some special features with every episode. You will see like some the full moon or moon crescent appearing in the logo, and the colors that will change with every season. For example, in the first season the logo was blue, and then pink, green, purple. It changed colors with every season. And the theme song of the opening, as it's called, Toasted Salads and Scrambled Eggs. That was one of the questions I had on my mind. Why did they name it that way? Apparently, it was actually inspired from the Frasier character itself, since Toasted Salads and Scrambled Eggs was actually a reference to the callers, to the people who would call Frasier. And in his song he would say, yeah, they're calling again, the toasted salads and the scrambled eggs.
Because they're all mixed up.
Yeah. Yeah, and he says, so in those lyrics he would say, and maybe I'm a bit confused. Well, maybe, but I got you pegged. It's a reference to his character where actually Frasier is sometimes very confusing. Sometimes he lives inside conflict between himself and others. So I thought that was an interesting fact, and some people could have asked that question actually.
That is awesome. That's probably the best fact of this video. Outstaged me once again, Miss Corn. Thank you. That actually is really good information there. I mean, the whole tossed salad. I didn't get the whole reference every time. Yeah, the tossed salad and scrambled eggs, because they're all mixed up.
Hey baby, the blues are calling.
The blues are calling, the blue people, I guess. That's one of the things I like about this show. I mean, just the intellectual humor of it, and it's really great. And it looks like I may have lost Mrs. Corn for the end of the video here, but you know, it really is a great show. I recommend watching it. I try to keep my videos short, but this is just one of those shows where you really can't. It's something that Duels even saw me watching one day, and he really liked it. He started streaming it, and we have lost her. It is a show that he saw me, watching, and he started streaming it, and he really likes it as well. So I think he'll actually probably add a comment about some of the things that he likes about it. But I recommend just watching the show if you haven't seen it. It was a popular show, so you may have seen it. Rewatch it. It is available on Netflix streaming, also Amazon. Amazon is where Duels is watching it. I'm going to link the collection to all the seasons in the comments. If you guys have any questions or anything you want to add them to the comments in Reddit, not on YouTube, as I don't read them. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. No prizes on this time, but keep watching my other videos. I'll probably have a prize pretty soon. Take care, guys.
I'm gonna get in my car, drive away, drive so far, and no one's gonna find me. Put my foot on the gas, accelerate.